I got some on my face. I got some splashback.
That's what she said.
Guys, welcome back to another episode of the Slightly Outside Podcast, where it is I Demonic with the homie Mario. This is the pothole / government edition of the podcast, where we have celebrities filling in potholes, where we have corporations filling in potholes.
How about that?
Where we have pitchers filling in for grieving pregnant people and popcorn.
Yeah,
technically,
popcorn in the story.
Technically, guys. Once again, if you get offended, leave. Like, just bye.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for stopping by. Give us your like or dislike. Call us assholes on the comments. Go for it.
Yeah.
Technically, that's what you're supposed to call them now.
Assholes?
Pregnant people.
Oh.
Yes. I mean, you can call them that. Depends if you want to sleep on the couch or not, but technically you're supposed to call them pregnant people. Birthing people.
They can't say just pregnant ladies?
You're bigoted. How dare you use lady?
Not the first
that is
I've been
gender.
called that.
That's gender. Anyways, guys, so on this episode of the Slightly Off Topic Podcast, there was news that was true, then false, then back to true again. Mario, go ahead and tell us the truth-false thing about this.
So here's how it started. Arnold Schwarzenegger. One more sip.
Go for it.
So here's how it started. Arnold Schwarzenegger fixed a pothole, according to the news.
Like
headlines,
a real
right?
red-blooded, a patriotic man that he is that wasn't born here.
A real hero. So he did that. And then CBS reported that it was not a pothole, but it was actually some kind of trench dug out by utility workers.
A working trench.
A working trench. That's right. And then it turned out Arnold Schwarzenegger says this. Arnold Schwarzenegger calls out CBS headline on pothole story. Why institutional trust is in decline.
From Fox News.
Oh, yeah. According to Fox News. Actor and former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger claimed that a CBS headline in his recent filling of a pothole in his neighborhood was bogus. The Terminator star garnered attention on Tuesday after posting a video of him filling in a giant pothole in the Brentwood, California community after allegedly dealing with it for weeks. It says, today after the whole neighborhood has been upset about this giant pothole that's been screwing up cars and bicycles for weeks, I went out with my team and fixed it. I always say, let's not complain, let's do something about it. Here you go, Schwarzenegger wrote on Twitter. However, CBS News insisted in a tweet that the pothole was actually a trench used for utility work. The giant pothole that Arnold Schwarzenegger said he recently filled on a street in his Los Angeles neighborhood of Brentwood was actually a trench that had been dug for utility work, according to the city. CBS News tweeted. Schwarzenegger called out his framing on Twitter, claiming it could be used as an example in the decline of media trust. Says this headline / tweet is bogus. The story is correct. The utility work was finished in January. I filled in the hole 3 months later and the city left my fix in place. This story should be taught in class for people who are confused about why institutional trust is in decline, Schwarzenegger tweeted. CBS News tweet also featured community note reading the pothole was filled 3 months after the utility work ended, according to Schwarzenegger. The city spokesperson said in a statement that the hole the actor filled up is not a pothole, but rather a service trench that relates to active permitted work being performed at a location by SoCal Gas, who expects the work to be completed by the end of May. Then it goes on, a spokesperson also explained to Fox News Digital that work in the area began on January 26th with expectations to be completed by the end of the week.
Long story short, basically, it was already, the work has already been done.
Yeah.
Arnold is tired of having bent rims, because potholes suck.
They're bad for your Hummers.
I think he actually has a Tahoe Suburban. I think he also does have a Hummer, but on the one that I saw him filling up the trench, I think he had a Suburban.
What? Because I know he also had a Mercedes for a while.
To claim to be an environmentalist, he does have a lot of gas guzzling vehicles.
Does he claim to be an environmentalist? No way. Not Arnie.
Yes, Arnie.
Wow.
So he fills in the already done with work trench because they filled it in, but they left a dent in it. And everybody knows that potholes suck ass. Why? Because look at the area that we live. Right down there. The street that starts with a J. Right?
Yeah.
I don't drive down that road. It sucks. No, you literally can't.
Your car.
Literally. The gas taxes here in California are supposed to go for fixing the roads.
Don't get me started.
California, I think California is literally the only place that has a tax on a tax on a tax, and that is the gas tax.
And then we still have shitty roads.
Dude, like, oh my God.
How does that even make sense?
We basically have like we basically have Pete Buttigieg, like, you know, having us fix there. He's the one fixing our roads, which were never fixed also in South Bend, Indiana, you know, because that was a famous thing that, you know, he couldn't even fix his own roads, but now he's the Secretary of Transportation.
Okay, well, just for devil's advocate reasons, all right? There are places in the Midwest that have really great looking roads, and they got low gas tax, they got no registration fees, and their streets are still perfect. Now,
you know why?
Here's the big difference.
Go ahead.
And there's probably more cars in the LA area than there is in the entire state of, I don't know, Montana?
Right.
Like more cars than people in LA than there are in Montana.
I'll give it to you there.
Or Indiana or Ohio or, you know, you name a Midwest state.
Right. I'll give it to you there.
So it stands to reason that we would have shitty roads for that reason. So, but that's why we pay extra.
Right.
That's why we pay more.
No.
So we can have around the clock fucking work.
No. Keep playing your devil's advocate. You're a devil's advocate. Now let me debate you.
All right.
On this fact.
All right.
Right. To take a line from what you just said right now, yes, this is why we have these high taxes for around the clock work to have better roads. But because politicians like to stick their hand in literally everything, maybe 10% of these road funds are going straight to, you know, the politicians' pockets. You know, for example, the plastic bag tax here in California.
Yeah.
10 cents for a plastic bag. I don't remember. Look it up. Look it up. Don't take my word for it. But this was
research.
This was how a long time ago. But I remember I looked it up. Out of these 10 cents, apparently only 10% of the taxes for the bags actually go into environmental work. The rest of it goes straight to politicians' pockets. Yeah,
I believe it. I wouldn't put it past them.
Same thing as the gas taxes. How is it that you got to keep on adding more taxes to our gas because the roads, and the roads are never fixed?
Yeah. Like they keep saying, oh, we're going to expand the 99. We're going to add another lane.
When you said that these states have fewer cars, you know, granted that may be true, and the roads may not be as used as our California roads and women, all right? There's still...
I don't know, this country people got nothing better to do.
It goes to show you that at least they're putting their funds on where their funds are said to go.
Yeah.
For the roads. There is country roads in rural places that are better than our roads here.
Yeah.
Because the government there, the local government keeps up on them. They're keeping their promise to their people that these taxes are going straight for the roads.
And to be fair, their promise is probably easier kept. Because you got, like I said, just a small percentage of the cars that California has.
Yes.
It's the same road, same technology, same material, and that's why theirs actually lasts longer.
Let's just say 10,000 goes for you for your roads in your rural place, right? You use those 10,000 for the roads. You fix your roads. Granted, there may not be heavily used roads. You know, they're nice, pure roads that are waiting to get married to be used, right? Then you have my roads, right? My roads are out 24/7, you know, come home late at night, you know, they're being used all the time.
Yeah.
Right? So their holes are always, you can't say filled, but you know.
This is getting weird.
Right? So my roads are trashy as shit, right? Your 10,000 versus my 10 million. You're telling me that my 10 million, because look at taxes wise, you're not heavily taxed as I am. You're getting more money out of my pocket. You're getting more funds to fix the roads. Yet all this money can't fix the roads. Not only can't fix the roads, but have been have been broken for literally years.
Yeah.
I still can remember 15 years old that this road down here, down the street that starts with a J, has been that bad.
I've been down that road, and there's times if there's no cops or anything, I'm gonna drive on the dirt on the side. I don't even go down the street.
And how?
I have a truck. Why not?
Right. That's what trucks are for man stuff like that. But you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, there's no excuse. The money is there to be used for road work. Don't go paving these, because you've seen it. Don't go paving these more higher class areas.
And that's all they do. They just stay over there in the nice side of town.
Yep.
Because they got high end, $100,000 vehicles.
Just because your city councilor lives over there in that nice area, they saw a little crack on the road. Next thing you know, have a group of 20 people working on that small crack of the road, but yet you can't fix this road right here?
That's exactly what it is.
You see what I mean?
Well, you got your representatives living on that side of town, even though they represent this side of town.
And this is what you have. You remember this popular French franchise. I'm going to rhyme it with Smominos. Smominos. Domino's Pizza. And this is from 2018.
Yeah,
but this is true. But
it's just as relevant today.
It's relevant today because it goes to show you that government sucks at doing their job. So the private corporations go in to do the government's job.
And that's a shame. It really is.
It really is. But let me just read this headline, all right? Because this is since 2018, all right? This long ago, this has been a problem. Literally for all time, but still. Domino's Pizza unveils U.S. infrastructure project filling potholes. Domino's Pizza is filling potholes in towns across the United States with a new, quote, Pave for Pizza initiative. The American pizza chain announced on Monday, 2018, that it will help, quote, smooth the ride home for deliveries by making pothole repairs in towns nominated by their customers. Quote, have you ever hit a pothole and instantly cringed? Russell Weiner hit President. I don't think that's Weiner. Is that Weiner or Weiner? What would you say that is?
That's Weiner.
That's Weiner.
Russell Weiner.
Quote, have you ever hit a pothole and instantly cringed? Unquote. Russell Weiner, president of Domino's USA, which is probably not president now, but I did look it up, explains, stated in press release, quote, we know the feeling and we know that feeling is heightened when you're bringing home a carry-out order from your local Domino's store. We don't want to lose any great tasting pizzas to your pothole, ruining a perfect meal. And look at these photos right here. It's basically telling you that wasn't, bro, that's like a slap in the government's face. It's like, you didn't do this. We did this.
That's fucking awesome.
So it's basically showing you that private corporations have to do the job of government, and they do it better because their money isn't going to politicians' pockets.
See, as of right now, if I had the choice to give that tax money to, Caltrans, or in California, so to give it to Caltrans or give it to Domino's, I'm giving it to Domino's. They're getting the job done.
And they literally put their stamp of approval on their end product.
Yeah.
Another big example, SpaceX.
How?
Because SpaceX is doing what NASA can't do.
Oh, right.
A government-funded agency. A private company is doing what that government agency was supposed to be doing.
Like, for my money, if there was a new space race and it was to see if whether SpaceX or NASA can get to the moon first, I'm putting my money on SpaceX.
100%.
Yeah.
But no, still SpaceX. I would say if given the same funding as SpaceX has to NASA, I would have said NASA because NASA has more resources than SpaceX, but you're running on government time versus real time.
Yeah.
Government time, you look at the roads. That's government time. Look at Elon Musk. That's private time, So that's just showing you that government is incapable of governing its own the way it's supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what is a real shame here because it's not supposed to be.
Right, exactly.
It's their job. It's infrastructure.
Yes,
it's what we pay for.
In the beginning, it should have never really been their job. It should have always been private companies bidding to get the job from government. I'm
going to disagree with you here.
Why?
Because there's been this debate before about having private companies build roads, right? It's not that they can't do it. It's the fact that they will do it. and then they're going to charge you to be on that road because they wouldn't do anything for free.
Technically, you are being...
This is a stunt. That's an ad.
Technically, you're being charged to be on the road, period. Because driving isn't a right. Driving is a privilege.
Okay.
Toll booths, gas prices.
Let's say Coca-Cola owns
car
the
registration.
highway. You think they're going to let Pepsi use that highway?
No, because you are getting paid. If you get paid by the government to do the work from a private company, it's not
So then
your
it's still
money.
the government then.
It's still the government, but now the government is subcontracting to private corporations.
Okay, and so here's the issue with that, is that if you know somebody in the government, and this is actually what's happened with the high-speed rail here in California.
Don't talk about that massive success story.
Well, bad actors have decided to get involved with their bids and give overblown bids to build this train.
Right.
It doesn't cost what they say it costs.
Right.
They're only doing that because they know the money's there.
Right.
Because the money is there before the bids are in, they're like, okay, then if we have access to $1 billion, the bid is $1 billion, even if it only costs $100 million to do.
Right.
We're gonna charge you $1 billion because your budget is $1 billion.
Right. Exactly. And I 100% guarantee.
And that's the job of a private corporation, of a private business. Also,
I agree with you.
is to make as much money as possible.
I agree. But then you should do your due diligence and know how much something is gonna cost, so you know if you're being outbid or underbid. Like, if you know your money's going right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So obviously, quid pro quo. Your buddy, you have a construction company, and I'm building a high-speed rail. Be like, bid this much. Here's how much we have. Obviously, oh my God, like it's gonna cost $1 billion to build this high-speed rail system. $2 billion later, it's still not built.
Yeah. And that's what's happening.
So that's just lack of accountability on the politician side.
Yeah, and they're perfectly fine letting this happen because they're getting rich, their buddies are getting rich, everybody around them is getting rich.
I'm not saying that
we still don't have a high-speed rail.
It's still faulty.
Bro, China builds their high-speed rails in like a year.
Yeah, and so it's still a faulty way of doing it, but this is why we got to keep our representative and politicians' feet to the fire.
Yeah.
But we don't do that. We keep on electing the same pieces of shit into government to continue to do the same crappy work they're doing.
It's because people aren't voting with their heads. They're voting with their feelings.
Literally, exactly.
Both left and right. Just so we're clear.
Both left and right. We're not talking shit on both sides of the party, but I'm talking shit on California's government, all right? Do a freaking better job, all right? It doesn't take a liberal or it doesn't take a liberal or a conservative to see that the politics in California is shitty as shit.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's really bad. My 2 cents on it, right? It would have been better if government paid private companies to do the work, because then you have to get the work done.
And that would be in an ideal situation. But the problem is, like I said, with high-speed rail.
In my perfect world.
Well, I'm just giving you a real-world example. Is the high-speed rail that they are hiring private companies to do parts of the work,
but like I said, they're not held accountable though.
They're not held accountable. That's true.
That's where I'm going with this.
That's the politician's fault.
Right. That's where I'm going with this right here. Now, being held accountable when you're out with your young daughter, right, or your kids, but mostly, let's just be honest, more your young daughter, because I too have young children. If you're out and they make a mess, let's just say at a restaurant, at a store, anywhere, they make a mess. Whose job is it to clean it? Is it your job as a parent to clean it, or is it the company's establishment, wherever you're at, to clean the job because they have people to do it?
They literally have hired help for that purpose.
All right.
But that being said, personally, I still clean up after my kids to the best of my immediate abilities. So, like, if I take my daughter out to eat, she loves rice and beans. Obviously, some beans and some rice is going to hit the floor. Now, anything that falls on the table, I'm going to pick up as much of it as I can. But if it falls on the floor...
I get where you're going, because as a responsible parent, it is my child. They're the ones making the mess. And I clean up after myself, even if I go to a restaurant. It doesn't even have to be a fancy restaurant like McDonald's. Anywhere. Yeah. I literally wipe down my eating area because I have manners.
Yeah.
Right. But now let me throw a little wrench.
There are exceptions. Here we go.
Let me throw a little wrench in it. All right. Let me throw a little Jack Daniels in it.
Cut the wrench.
What if you weren't able to if you had the child by yourself or 2 children by yourself and you physically weren't able to pick up after them.
Well, that's exactly what happened to our friend here. NBC News reports. Pitcher Anthony Bass claims flight attendant asked his pregnant wife to clean up after their child, fueling heated debate. The veteran right-hander wasn't greeted with total support on Twitter, as many sided with the crew. Says here, Toronto Blue Jays pitcher Anthony Bass lashed out at United Airlines, claiming the flight attendant forced his pregnant wife to clean up a midair mess left by their toddler daughter. Says the Twitter-fueled dust-up started Sunday with the first of several tweets by Bass complaining that his 22 weeks pregnant wife was made to get on her hands and knees to pick up the popcorn mess left by my youngest daughter, he says. Says Bass is married to Sydney Ray James, sister of country singer Jesse James Decker. Never heard of him.
Tweet by Anthony Bass right here. The flight attendant at United just made my 22-week pregnant wife traveling with 5-year-old and 2-year-old get on her hands and knees to pick up popcorn mess by my youngest daughter. Are you kidding me? Question mark, exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark. Was he right to be outraged?
Absolutely.
Twitter would disagree with you.
Twitter can kiss my ass. I mean, come on. She's 22 weeks pregnant. She has 2 young children with her. It's popcorn, for God's sake. What are they not going to clean the plane before the next people get on?
Right, but now
are they the only ones that left the mess on that plane?
If maybe not the mess to this extent,
it's popcorn.
It is popcorn, but
unless it's like 10 pounds of popcorn.
As a parent, if you're, and I'm not, this is only my speculative opinion, right? If you're on that flight and you're watching your daughters make a mess,
I'm cleaning it up.
Are you not gonna tell your daughters something? Like, be like, even though they are young, be like, hey, stop making a mess. Keep it here in your however you talk to your daughter. Because like when my daughter makes a mess, like I tell her, pick it up. Yeah. She'll purposely grab like food and throw it, and I'm like, no, go pick it up.
She'll literally go like this in front of me.
Literally same here.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm telling you. Like,
this is her dropping her milk. Like just pouring milk on the ground, one for her dead homies.
She's like, do something about it.
Exactly.
And then just walks off.
Gets in my face and everything.
Right. So yeah, like, because we have the relatively same aged daughters, like my daughter, I try to teach her that she needs to keep her area clean. Yeah. It is bad to be throwing. Right. So now you as a parent, like to get to this level of mess, like, you had to not, and it's not a big mess. It's really not a big mess, but can't you like be, hey, don't do that.
Yeah, of course you can, but giving the experience, I mean, your kid's still going to do what they do.
Right.
Regardless, you can tell them no and they'll still throw the popcorn.
If your daughter can use a tablet like this picture showing you,
yeah,
you should be teaching her not to be making a mess.
You can be teaching her, of course. Whether or not she listens is another.
Right.
That's another discussion.
And like I'm saying, so this one's hard on me because yes, there is a cleaning crew for this purpose.
Right.
But at the same time, the flight attendant isn't the cleaning crew either. The flight attendant can ask you, clean up your mess.
Yeah, you don't have to do it. I wouldn't do it. I mean,
the flight attendant had the power to kick you out for not wearing a mask. So they can't tell you to pick up a mess.
No, they can tell me, but the plane's already landed. Well, what the fuck are you gonna do? Send me back to wherever? I don't care.
I don't know. This one's. I would.
See, here's the thing. If I'm on the plane with my wife, and she's 22 weeks pregnant, I'm 100% cleaning that mess up myself. Right? Because I'm responsible for this child.
Right.
If I am not on this flight, and my 22 weeks pregnant wife is by herself, I wouldn't expect her to clean up that mess. It's a 2-year-old. That's what they do. They're dumb kids.
Like I said, I get you, but
now if my wife wasn't pregnant, I'd be like, honey, you should just clean it up.
Right.
And my wife would. She'd be like, yeah, you dumb kid, don't make a mess. It's embarrassing.
To me, I don't know, like just the fact if she wasn't 22 weeks pregnant, it would have been a different story.
Exactly.
But I guess you
remember your wife when she was pregnant?
For my firstborn, she was huge.
Now imagine. She has to clean up a mess.
Yeah, because I dropped the spaghetti and I told her she better pick it up.
Like, obviously, like,
I am the king of my castle, and thy will be done.
she's barefoot and everything.
Yes.
Barefoot and all. Well, no, we see you wouldn't want to see her on her hands and knees picking up.
No, because I
popcorn.
would. I would.
Of course you would, but you're not there.
I know, but at the same time, like, see, it's hard. Like, it's hard on me because, like, I guess I have that mannerism where it's our mess, we pick it up.
Of course, and I feel you, and I'm on the same boat as you. But there is a limit. There is an extent to where it's no longer your not necessarily no longer your problem, but it's kind of a big expectation for a 22-week pregnant lady to get on her hands and knees and pick up popcorn. Like, if I'm that flight attendant and if I'm a passenger on the plane and I'm seeing this pregnant lady cleaning up, even if it's not my kid, I'm going to help her at least.
Right, exactly.
Because I would feel rude just passing by watching this pregnant lady trying to pick up popcorn. Like, she's got these 2 kids and she's got to pick up popcorn first before she can get off her plane.
Right.
Like, don't worry, lady. I'll handle it. You go. You take your kids. I'll clean it up. If the flight attendant's being a bitch, I'll clean it up for you.
Right. I mean, technically, she could have also said no.
We were taught manners.
Technically, she could have also said no.
But she had manners enough to say, fine, I'll clean it up.
So then, technically, that's on her.
In a way, it's on her for having manners, sure.
Right.
You know, you're saying, like, but, you know, they're going to clean that plane regardless, whether she picked up the popcorn or not. That plane has to get cleaned before the next flight.
I think the main backlash to this story.
It's like at the movie theater, right?
Right.
You have kids. You've taken your kids to the movies.
Right.
If the kid drops popcorn, fine.
Oh, the movies is different. No, the movies is a different environment. I literally, my half-eaten bag of popcorn, once the movie's done, I grab it and I just chuck it, like, into the crowd of people.
If the movie was great, I throw it up in the air. If the
Right,
movie was
like
bad,
basically like a graduation. That's what I do right there, and then I walk out like that's how you act in movies, you know.
That's what I was taught.
So I guess the backlash would be is that people don't feel bad for uber rich people having to do basic deeds, stuff that the normal everyday man already does.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of a dumb way to think, in my opinion, because it's like, who cares if they're rich or poor? This is, you know, that has nothing to do with whether or not it's right to ask a pregnant lady to clean up a small popcorn mess or large popcorn mess. Who, I don't know, it doesn't say the size of the popcorn mess, regardless.
Right.
It's like, you should have enough human decency to be like, don't worry about it, I got it.
All right, now let me ask you something. This has nothing to do with this story right here, but I just want to pick your brain a little bit. Can you guys hear that? It's the cops. Wee you. There's a helicopter above us because we live in a perfectly safe area.
Super safe.
Of California. So you've seen these videos probably that people are sitting on public transportation, train, bus, and a pregnant woman is there standing.
Yep.
Are you obligated to give up your seat to the pregnant woman?
Obligated? No, I don't think anybody's obligated.
So would you?
Yes.
I would too.
I think it's just common courtesy.
Right. Have you seen the backlash against people saying like, "Oh, get up and give her the get up and give the pregnant lady the seat"? Have you seen the backlash towards it?
No, I have not.
Dude, it's bad. They're like, so we're literally same scenario, pregnant woman, but they're like, no, just because she's pregnant doesn't give her the privilege of people getting up to give her the seat.
But you know who's saying this? It's people who have never, it's selfish people, really.
Trolls.
It's like nothing else in this universe matters but myself. My fellow human being doesn't even matter. Am I comfortable? And I think that's the problem. And it's like, you might not even know this pregnant person. You might have no any kind of feeling towards this certain individual, but that is another human being that's going to live in your community. The
Right.
child they're going to have is going
Right.
to be a person in your community. You never know, that child can grow up to be a doctor, a lawyer.
He could be the one robbing you as
Exactly.
you're going to the store. Treat them nice.
But one way or the other, this person is a member of your community.
Right.
And just to be a decent human person, especially with your own community, you should give up that seat.
Which is technically true. like I said, on this behalf, I it's so hard to try. It's so hard to try to side with both because both are technically right. You know, it's just that like it's hard to take myself out of this equation because knowing what I would do, it's wrong for the flight attendant to, if you're okay. Another scenario that we don't know. Was his wife dressed to where you can see the belly? Or was the belly hidden and the flight attendant didn't know?
Well, then, I mean, that can make a difference.
It can. Because if the flight attendant didn't know she was pregnant,
then I would understand and be like, okay,
because
well,
what do you do in society?
If I just saw some random lady standing on the bus, you're standing, bitch. Like, I'm not getting up. Right. But if it's a lady who's pregnant, it's like, no, please, ma'am, have a seat.
Yeah, but what do you do? Especially if you're the opposite gender, what do? You don't ask a woman if she's pregnant because she could just probably be fat.
Yeah.
You know? So what if, devil's advocate, this flight attendant maybe just thought she was fat?
Well, 22 weeks is only, what, like 4.5 months?
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
I think you could tell by then. No?
It literally just depends on the person. Because if the person is of a bigger stature, then no, you really can't tell.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
but at the end of the day, the way I see it, she is pregnant.
She's only pregnant because he's putting it on Twitter that she's pregnant. Like I said, right here, picture. The girl has a jacket, which could state that it's probably cold. So henceforth, the mom might have a jacket. You know, so it's devil's advocate. The only reason we know she's pregnant is because he said she's pregnant.
Right.
Not because the flight attendant knows she's pregnant. What if the mother is a kind-hearted soul that didn't want to be like, okay, I was told to clean up the mess. I'm going to clean my mess. I'm not going to tell her that I'm pregnant. She told me to clean my mess. It is my mess. I'm going to clean my mess.
Well, I mean, that's another thing, sure. But I'm going to go based off the information presented.
No, by the one side. By one side.
Well, if they would, comment on it, then they'd have their side written. But unfortunately, they refuse to, comment on the situation.
Because you technically, I would also refuse to comment on the situation because there's no way how to spin this without making you look like an asshole.
True, and in 7 days, it's gone. No one's going to care anymore.
In 3 days.
In 3 days.
Literally.
That's media, baby.
What would you guys do if your pregnant person, because we are politically correct in this podcast, if your pregnant wife was forced to pick up popcorn, what would you do? Would you create an uproar? Would you put it on Twitter? Let us know in the comments down below. And also let us know how much government sucks at filling in potholes. With this being said, it is iDemonic signing out. Peace.
Peace out, y'all.